Okay, so we are going to start out with a cookie. This is already cut and baked. I used my cookie stencils. If you don't know how to make these, I do have a video on my channel, and this is what I use. This is the image that I'm going to make these cookies based on. I am using 4 colors of royal icing in this tutorial. I have a black, a dark gray, a medium gray, and a light gray. And I'm going to go ahead and start out with the easiest cookie. And I'm using my black royal icing for this. And I'm just piping all along the edges and filling that in. I'm using my needle tool to just smooth everything out. And when you do this, you just want to make small little circles to smooth out the royal icing. So I've let this dry for about an hour. I would suggest that you let it dry for about 2 hours. But I'm just using my needle tool to kind of sketch out where my lining or where my lines are going to be that I'm going to go ahead and pipe on. As you can see, some of my scratches go a little bit deep because the royal icing wasn't fully dried. So this is why I suggest that you let it dry for a little bit more. This did not affect the overall cookie, so if you really don't have time, you could just wait an hour and do it, but I would just suggest to wait a little bit longer. If you need more guidance on this, or if you want another example on how to do this scratching technique, then I do have my Jungle Book cookies. I did the scratching technique for those cookies as well, and it turned out beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and link those here if you guys want to check those out. Here I'm using my light gray. This is the lightest gray to go ahead and do the eyes. So basically I just put a little blob of royal icing on there, and with my needle tool I go ahead and finish off all of the details. It's really easy for me to do it this way, and it's a really good technique if you're not really good at doing details straight out of the piping bag. I know that a lot of people can do that, but for me, I just need a little bit more practice doing that, so this needle tool method works for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the eyes. I just start with the eyes because I feel like they're, I guess, the hardest part of the this tutorial, I guess, just because they have to be even and aligned. But after that, you're just going to go ahead and follow all the lines that you scratched on. It's pretty easy and it's pretty basic. And if there are any lines that you need to smooth out, you can just use your needle tool. And I am using a medium 30-second consistency. Or is it 30? No, I think this is 20-second consistency royal icing. So I decided to leave in the whole clip of me doing all of this line work because I wanted you guys to see everything and how everything was done. I definitely recommend to use the needle tool to your advantage to get those fine points. But overall, I feel like this is a pretty simple cookie to make. So if you're trying this at home, it's one of the more, I know that it looks super simple. It's a little bit more detailed, but it's definitely not one of the hardest cookies that I've ever made. So now we're going to move on to the actual hardest cookie that I've ever made. And again, this one is already baked and cut. This is the image that I'm basing this cookie off of. And I am just using my needle tool to scratch on the cookie to kind of map out where everything is going to be. Like I said, this is the hardest cookie that I've ever made, and I believe it's the hardest because I'm trying to replicate a human face on a cookie with royal icing. My biggest thing for you guys, if you are trying this at home, is to not give up. I wanted to give up during this cookie, I mean, to be honest, but I just didn't let myself. I knew that I could do it. I realized, you know what, it's just a cookie. It's okay, let me just have fun. So the first cookie I did, like I said, it wasn't, good, at least in my opinion. But the second one I was really, really happy with, and I really loved the outcome of this. So after using my needle tool to scratch on the cookie and mapping out everything, I took my black royal icing and I kind of started from dark to light. So I put on the hair, the beard, and the left side of the design, which will be the Black Panther mask. So I let the black royal icing dry for about 30 minutes. And now I'm going to go ahead and fill the face with some medium gray royal icing. What a wet on wet royal icing technique is where you put a layer of royal icing, and before that dries you go ahead and put on a different color so that the second layer actually sinks down into the first layer to make it one full layer. I hope that makes sense, but if it doesn't, you can see it here. So the ear and that line on the side of the face that I did with dark gray royal icing was a wet on wet technique, and then the eyes and all of the details on the face are wet on wet as well. So I did the eye and I put in a little dot of light gray royal icing and kind of just fixed that with the needle tool. In the middle for the pupil I did I used the black royal icing. For the eyelid, I used the medium tone of royal icing, as well as for the eyelid fold that I'm doing here. And then for the eyebrow, I used the dark gray royal icing. So for this cookie, it's all about just using all of those different tones and colors to create dimension and to create details. Here I am using my needle tool just to get all of those fine lines. As you can see, I didn't use my piping bag to pipe directly onto the cookie. I am taking my needle tool and I'm grabbing some icing and then bringing it to the cookie. And this just lets me have more control, especially with those just tiny thin lines. Again, the nostril is a wet on wet technique, and you could just totally see that there, that it's not two different layers. It all kind of just meshes into one layer, but the colors are still separate. So here I'm moving to the bottom part of the beard. This is kind of the spot below the lips. I don't know what it's called, but I'm just using some dark gray royal icing for that. And then also for the neck and what is this called? Kind of the top of the shoulders there, I'm using a dark gray as well. So I have let this cookie dry for, again, about 20 to 30 minutes, so that face layer is already nice and it's crusting. So here with my needle tool, I'm taking my light gray and I'm just adding some lines for the nose just to bring it out a little bit more. So while all the layers on the right side finish drying, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the left side. The left side is super easy and super simple because it's exactly like the first cookie design that we did. So the last, well, one of the last things that we have to do is do the lips. I am using the light gray for the top lip and the medium gray for the bottom lip. And I'm just using my needle tool again to smooth that out and just to fill up the rest of the space. And then I'm doing the necklace on the mask side of the cookie. And those are super simple too. Just think of it as elongated diamonds. So once you're done with this, you just let the cookie fully dry, and that is all. Oh, I love it, you guys. I love it so much. Like I said in the beginning, the second design was definitely the more difficult of the two, but I hope that doesn't prevent you guys from trying it out. At least please try the first design. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!